Mr. President, sir, people are becoming a bit confused by the way you and your opponent are, well, constantly holding hands.
We are merely exchanging long protein strings. If you can think of a simpler way, I'd like to hear it.
Welcome to the Serfs. I'm Lance.
I'm Dave.
And today's episode is brought to you by letter T for trolls, because we are talking about the ghoulish gremlins that run the internet behind the scenes. They destroy your Twitter accounts or trying to be a woman online. I mean, yeah, we'll call a spade a spade. And we're gonna dissect them. So this is a fight for the little guys.
I guess I don't know. I mean, it's such a complicated. I was gonna say aren't they the little guys? They're like the little guys who got mad with like crazy, obscene power.
Yeah, that's true. Internet power. Brought to you by the power of the internet.
So this is for the big guys.
Yes, this is for the big guys. Yeah. But before we get to our main topic, we have a whole range of big things to talk about. I guess the most important thing is that this is no longer a news and comedy podcast. It's a Game of Thrones podcast.
All right. I'm right
it's one of the 50,000 Game of Thrones podcasts, because we need another one.
Right? What we should do is we should change this and tie in politics with Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh, well, we talked earlier about giving Trump the Daenerys-esque list of titles.
We should do that by next episode.
Yeah, we should have a whole bunch by next episode. But yeah, jokes aside, let's get to the most important part of the week. What are you drinking this fine evening?
I'm drinking from Steel and Oak. I'm drinking their Sapperton anniversary beer.
Ooh. It's a celebration.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah?
Honestly, this is one of my favorite beers I've tried recently.
Wow.
So please, Steel and Oak, I know you're local guys, sponsor us. I'll suck your dick.
We're just going to get down right to brass tacks here. We will fillet for sponsorship. We're not great at it, but
we'll give it a good college try.
Yeah, we're fast learners.
What do you got there?
I'm drinking Persephone. The brewing company is Persephone, and this is their Indian Summer Ale, and it is also delicious. We are... I don't know what we're doing here. We're just upping the ante and actually drinking delicious drinks for a change.
I think that was the whole point when we first originally said that this is what we're going to start off with.
We just went through a dark period.
We derailed very quickly.
That was terrible. Double fermented bags of wine. That can of like 8% Big Daddy. I was drinking Big Daddy.
I'm going to copy that little audio segment where you just said right there. Make it your ringtone.
Oh, it's Big Daddy. He's calling again. Yeah, but on to the news. Where to start? Maybe we should follow up on last week's Donald Trump Jr. and his little fiasco.
I mean, at this point, we should just refer to him as Fredo, because there's nothing better.
And the internet already has. I read somewhere that the guest list apparently has increased. It's no longer just like the Russian pop star there was a lawyer. There was a couple. There was two lawyers. Well, who knows if they're lawyers? Yeah. There was a fucking translator. Yeah.
What is that? Yeah. Okay. And I don't know. There, as of today, they released that they found an eighth guy, which would include like Manafort.
So yeah, his name, and I'm about to butcher.
Oh yeah, I looked at his name. There's no way I was going to try this.
Irakli Kevitsledze or Keviledze. Yeah, that's as close as you're getting, Russia. Come on, stop annexing, and I'll learn how to pronounce some of your names properly.
No, you won't.
But yeah, so he is from a prominent Russian family, whatever that means. Like,
so yeah, an oligarch. That's
one of the old oligarchs, or at least the son of the oligarchs, or the original oligarchs must be like 3 generations ago. So now we're 3 generations of oligarchical children running the country.
Just pieces of shit.
Yes. Yes. Rich pieces of shit running the country.
Which actually makes sense that they'd want to meet up with fucking Fredo over there.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So there's still nothing that's really come out except for the fact that we all know it's pretty much Russian collusion, which these last year and a half that I was like, what Russian collusion?
Yeah,
That's not Russian collusion.
Never
And then I was like, oh, we got tricked into Russian collusion.
and then it's like, this is patriotism. We were doing it for the betterment of the country.
Yeah.
Like that little kind of like scaling, sliding, like, just step by step, it becomes worse and worse. And then eventually
it just ends up as colluding with a foreign government is patriotism.
It's patriotism, which, when NPR tweeted out the Declaration of Independence, wasn't a stretch.
I think they might get it, sometimes you pick up like a dictionary and you're looking for a synonym for a word. Maybe they looked at an antonym for a word.
That's the antonym of patriotism. Treason. Oh, that's so true. Yeah, I mean, you hear often in the liberal media that this is the smoking gun. Like, this is the smoking gun. Like, there's no such thing as a smoking gun. We could do an entire smoking gun episode in the list of, just arms cachet that has been accumulating on basically the entire Russian fiasco.
I mean, obviously the Trump brigade, which actually, I'm going to cut in just for the second there. Actually, I saw polling results today that showed that 48% of Republicans did not believe that Donald Trump Jr. met with a Russian agent.
Even after he himself.
Yes.
What?
That's the world we're living in.
So he tweets pictures of the emails for transparency, and they're like, fake news.
Yep. We're through the looking glass here, people.
Well, that's ridiculous. Well, who are you going to believe? So clearly they're obviously painting their own narrative, which for a long time it hasn't a basis in reality, but now it's just gone into pure fantasy. Well, that's insane. Yeah, so what is going to come from this? Probably nothing, to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, as far as the actual smoking gun goes, I mean, what would constitute a smoking gun? At every point, there's always going to be some level of inconclusivity there.
Yeah.
Like, unless somebody actually, we're at the point now where somebody could literally provide all the documents of said collusion with his signature, and people just wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, they wouldn't believe it for a second.
So I think the smoking gun aspect is just a dead cause now.
Yeah. No, it's true. And like you've said before, if this is what we're seeing that's, in the forefront of the press and stuff like that, what is going on behind the scenes, especially for the Mueller investigation, everything must be crazy.
Yeah,
I can't wait till some of this stuff.
That PP tape. It's got to be that.
It's all about the PP.
that might be a smoking gun.
Yeah, smoking stream of piss. Yeah, and as we mentioned before, whatever she had to eat that day changed geopolitics forever. Like, if she chose to have cuttlefish or asparagus, like that was changing the course of history. Yeah. that little piece of asparagus.
History books of the future will reflect on that.
Speaking of steaming piles of piss, Trump and Putin apparently held a 1-hour secret meeting outside of the meeting that was, the open meeting.
The open meeting, which was super secret as well.
Yeah, but
the open meeting, they went into the meeting in front of the press.
Yes.
Obviously, they did it behind closed doors.
Yes.
And there was nobody. I think there might have been a Russian translator, maybe not.
Yeah.
And Tillerson might have been in there, but other than
I think Tillerson was there.
Okay.
Yeah, Tillerson was
so those guys were in there, and I guess they probably, I don't know, talked shitty geopolitics. I originally thought they would have talked about some skeevy shit in there, but it's clear if you had an hour-long private
conversation with Trump.
I don't think it was a conversation. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I mean,
it's basically two megalomaniacs boasting about their accomplishments for an hour. Yeah, I couldn't imagine a more horrendous conversation to be in. Oh. Yeah, and one of them actually has a right to boast about his accomplishments because he has pulled an incredible, not a coup d'état, but
I mean, as far as geopolitical statehoods go.
Yeah,
he went from a KGB member to a dictator.
To a quasi dictator and the apparently richest man in the world, if his actual assets were ever totaled.
Yeah.
Probably one of maybe the most wealthy kleptocracy of all time.
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Really?
Fucking some of those Saudi guys or something. Not of all time, because there's like, those old kings of back in the day who like.
Yeah, but that's when, because of inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever gold and jewels and like, child prostitutes they had at that time, like the value of it is increased exponentially.
Of course,
so all of Putin's child prostitutes are probably way more valuable child prostitutes.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. But we got derailed.
Well, either way, I mean, this just came out today.
Yes.
It's obviously super skeezy.
Yeah.
We don't know what they said. The optics of this are fucking brutal.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're terrible. Like you said, like 4 episodes ago, I don't know what you had to gain by this. You know, like what
you shouldn't have had a meeting in the first place.
You should have had a meeting in the first place. And even if like, okay, so the initial one that, Tillerson was talking about, that was kind of like their really weak attempt to dispel any rumors that might exist about the whole, the collusion fiasco where he's like, oh, well, he questioned him about the hacking and the emails.
Yeah.
So, that's done with, case closed. we're over now.
That's how it works.
Yeah. And then, so let's go talk in private for an hour.
What I also don't get with this whole thing is how do they expect this not to, like, do you expect this not to get
released?
Yeah.
I know.
Pretty much every fucking boner move you do, and every day is full of boner, they're all leaked. Because it's so incompetent, and there's the general staffers, and you're surrounded by, like, thousands of people in the bureaucracy that have been working for amazingly functional government for like years, decades, multiple different presidents and stuff. Yeah. They're going to see this fucking train wreck and be like, whoa.
Yeah, what the fuck was happening?
Yeah.
That would be a great name for the entire Trump administration film, The Boner Move. A Spike Lee joint.
Well,
yeah, conspiracy theories aside, I do not think that Trump is directly in the pocket of Putin. Like that, I don't think so.
I don't know what to think. I honestly don't.
Really?
I thought, I mean, I waver on this.
I think Trump owes, and this isn't even like a secret, he owes a significant amount of money to Russian banks and Russian bank lending, because once he bankrupted his company so many times, he stopped being able to get loans from American companies.
Isn't it entirely conceivable there that like Putin is the one who's puppeteering those banks to bend to his will right now too, to push, or like if we're saying he's possibly beholden to big financial interests in Russia, can't we say that like, dictator Putin has some power there?
Some sway over him.
All the banks are run by like his buddies and oligarchs and stuff.
Yeah, no, that much is true. But is it just as black and white and as simple as him being in a room with him and being like, no, you owe a lot of money, and so because of that, we want you to ease sanctions? I think that's oversimplifying the entire thing. Yeah.
There's various probably shades of like disconnect, but
yeah. Well, I guess as time goes on, we'll learn more. We'll eventually learn what that Russian prostitute ate before the pee came out. I mean, I'm
hoping it's asparagus.
One can only hope. Speaking of asparagus, I actually don't have a segment. Sure. We can talk about the whole Kid Rock Ready for He looks like a giant piece of asparagus. He's a lanky, skinny, white, like
he's like
hat wearing.
He's like a piece of like boiled asparagus left out in the sun for a couple days.
Yeah, the weird asparagus, the white asparagus.
Yeah,
actually, well, it's not like less delicious than regular asparagus, but it's just okay. Yes, you're first.
But anyways, so Kid Rock has decided to run for the Senate. Yeah, because of years of political expertise and. The fact that we're living in a circus these days in which reality TV stars can become presidents. Why not have a fucking broke-ass hillbilly
redneck
third-rate rock star from the 90s?
Oh, come on. You're being disingenuous to third-rate rock stars.
With a butt.
Bing the bang.
In the 90s, he was probably a third-rate rock star.
No, he was pretty big in the 90s. He had like 3 big singles. I think let's say like whatever year those 3 singles came out, he was like actually mainstream. He was mainstream, and he's been riding that wave ever since. Because
I think he like downshifted and turned into a country redneck musician now.
Yeah.
Where he's probably like, I hate Obama. Basically, what I feel is like Ted Nugent's probably about to die and good riddance.
Yes, no kidding.
Shit.
To bad rubbish.
And Kid Rock's just going to like pick up that mantle and run with it for the next 30
of the hyper-conservative country singer who shows up every now and then when they can't get anyone else.
Yeah. If you want to get airtime, you just go on Fox News and just say, you know, I don't like this liberals. Boom.
Yeah.
People remember what, you know, where hole you crawled out.
But is he ever going to manage to be quite as inappropriate as Ted Nugent? Because Ted Nugent was notorious for like, okay, you're like, say Trump's inauguration, you've got a song to play, and you're going to start singing about lynching. You know, like,
he's a racist piece of garbage.
He's an incredibly racist piece of garbage.
Who literally shit himself so he could avoid the draft.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, Ted Nugent shit himself.
What?
So he would not get selected in the Vietnam draft.
Really? Actually,
he is, and has a song also about molesting some children or girls or something, some underage girl. One of his big songs is about like a 15-year-old girl.
Jesus.
Yeah. So he's
sorry. Back this up.
He's a pants shitting draft
dodger and
pedophile.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good.
And this is like well known. Like
so
there's no Alex Jones here. I'm pretty sure this is fucking from his own autobiography.
So he in his autobiography basically said that like I didn't want to have to go to war. Does he say why? Because that seems really counterintuitive.
Cowardly piece of shit.
Right, but what's his justification for the shit story? Like what was his narrative?
I can't remember. I can't. We can look it up for the next time.
Yeah, okay.
He did shit him.
That is amazing. Yeah. That just made my day. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, we derailed. Sorry, Kid Rock, we're getting back to you. Kid Rock for U.S. Senate. He tweeted, I think a week ago, he was like, this is not a joke. Or people keep asking me, is this a real website? This is not a joke. I keep getting emails. Yeah. So he's actually running for U.S. Senate.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, he's.
I would say he's going to lose, but like you said, we live in the bizarre world now.
We live in bizarre. Maybe anything is possible.
Maybe Trump's the end of bizarre world, right? You look at like we've mentioned before around the world in Western democracies, we saw sort of a populism rise at the same time as Trump, and then Trump came in and fucking. Cheetoed crust everywhere. And then, Macron won in a landslide. Wilders lost in a landslide. Brexit, we'll skip that one.
I was going to say, I thought the pendulum was swinging one way for a long time.
Yeah.
And then now I'm starting to get a little bit of hope that the pendulum is swinging in the other direction, as it always does.
I feel like that is a lot of Trump's just antics that have just pushed sane people away from that populist, like crazy person. Yeah. So maybe by the time, I'm guessing this will be for the 2020 elections or maybe 2018.
Yeah.
Either way, Kid Rock's not going to fucking win.
No.
He's not.
Well, I mean, I hope so. Well, we'll see. We're going to stay really close to the story. So this is the official quote from Kid Rock in 2012 when he stated that he wanted to get into politics. So he's actually had this on his mind for some time.
Gross.
I came into this business with 2 middle fingers in the air. If I had realized you could just be political and piss people off so much, I would have done this shit a long time ago.
Nobody would have cared who the fuck you were.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think he's making the crux of his entire political campaign guns. Like, it's just going to be guns, guns, guns. Like, he's like, Bummer has been taking our guns away for years. Blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah, see, that's not going to work with, like, Trump in power.
No.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen that new NRA video?
No.
There was a new NRA video. We talked about the first one a couple weeks ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
There was another one from some, like, piece of shit radio show guy. Basically taking shots directly at Washington Post about how they're anti-gun and that's where journalism goes to die and they should watch out and be scared. It was basically the same kind of video as the first one was, but this one more like directly directed towards Washington Post.
So basically, the Second Amendment is shooting the First Amendment.
Yeah. Wow. Succinct way of putting it. And I mean, that was the inevitable way.
Yes. Yeah. I guess we got to move on to a bit of a sadder story. Like, I don't even want to try and do a funny segue because this one is, it's just very depressing. There's nothing funny to say about this. Apparently, more than 500 boys have been abused at the top German Catholic school for the last 60 years.
Oh, at the same school?
At the same school, yeah. 500. 500 boys, yeah. 547 pupils at one of Germany's most famous Roman Catholic school choirs were physically or sexually abused between 1945 and 2015. Says an independent report that just come out.
So it's about like somewhere in the vicinity of roughly 35 to 45 a year.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of sexual abuses by Catholic priests has, since it's been reported anyway, has just been never ending.
But I feel like, well, maybe this is just public and more well reported incidences. But
yeah.
I feel like in the last couple of years, there's been less major instances.
Last year, I think, was when the Australian papers came out, and that showed, thousands of young boys that just, been abused and died. It's generational. It's been going on for I don't know how long it's been going on because Catholic Church has been around for a real long time.
I'm going to say it's been around for a real long time.
What year is it?
So I'm going to go
AD.
I'm going to go out and maybe say, or give the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say 2000 and let's say 16 and a half.
Yeah.
That's about when the abuses started.
Yeah.
So as soon as the thought of Jesus sort of passed away and he was like your great grandfather's era, it's sort of like now where it's like all the World War II veterans are dead.
Yeah.
And it's like the Nazis are back, it's like, well, we're allowed to be back again.
It's important.
But I feel like with what I was saying earlier that there seemed to be more bigger stories about those crimes and stuff. I guess there was a period there in the late 90s where they all just sort of came out and the dram broke for as far as the reporting.
Yes.
And
yeah, ever since that Boston Globe story basically kind of really set the tone.
Yeah.
I am a little bit worried that it kind of became just that, we got inundated with it so much that just became commonplace, right? You're like, here's another sexual abuse scandal for the children, right?
It's like Syrian death.
Exactly. Yeah, Syrian gas kids. Like it bounces off your head sometimes because you're like, oh, well, it happens all the time. So
yeah, you just get desensitized to it.
You get really desensitized to it.
And I mean, like, we do, right?
Yeah.
This instance, this is a big story because 500 kids is a fucking lot of kids.
That's a lot of. No kidding. Yeah.
But if it was one or two, and it probably is not that many. I mean, okay, it is a lot, but I mean, I could see it being various priests over just psych coming in and then getting the rape on, getting out.
Well, the old way they used to deal with these sexual abuses was they would just move the priests. They would rotate them. They wouldn't, be excommunicated.
No,
they would just be moved to another parish.
Has that changed now?
Well, I hope so. I really hope so. We've got this new we got the cool pope now who washes people's feet again and does all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's still part of an organization that is systematically abusing children worldwide. And it's very organized about it. It's got to be one of the most organized pedophilic groups.
It is
yes, the most organized. And the richest.
I mean, if there's one bigger, we got serious problems.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah. I mean, this was one school. This was over 500 children in one school.
As bad as this shit is, and it is obviously horrible.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
For let's say the Pope now or future popes.
Yeah,
you can't really do much about the previous ones, right? You have to basically.
You have to start the slate clean.
Yeah, and you have to work. I hope
that
they have an actual policy of non-raping children now. I hope that's frowned upon. Maybe even dealt with harshly.
It should be in the opening choir songs like, "Oh, Dolly, don't touch the
boys." I'm sure the boys were singing that.
I don't care. Please don't touch us. Yeah, well, I mean, it gets extra sticky because the last pope, the Nazi pope, what was his name, Ratzinger?
Yeah,
he was actually heavily entrenched in the cover-up scandal. Like he was one of the people who was responsible for covering up various.
And he was German, right? So
yes.
I'm sure he has something to do with this. Not like he diddled boys. I'm not throwing that accusation.
No.
But I would be shocked if he wasn't aware of.
Oh no, he was aware. He was involved in the cover-ups.
Yeah.
That's what's coming on now.
I mean, that's specifically this.
Oh, this
case.
School, yeah.
I would guarantee he knew about the cover-ups or
Well, so I'd say here's our solution: don't diddle children to the 10 commandments. Make it the 11th commandment. Like that's,
or just take out a commandment.
yeah. Well, the first 3 or 4 are like, they're all about not coveting other gods. It's all about God's jealousy. So you only really need 1 or 2 about God's jealousy. So you leave like 1 or 2 of those, fine. Don't make engraven images, all that stuff, right? But then take one of the weirder ones out and then put in don't diddle kids.
Yeah, I mean, I think, isn't like don't make engraved images like really high up there in the 10 commandments?
Yeah, it's like number 2 or 3.
Yeah, like, I don't even understand what that means. Really.
Well, it's don't make like stone objects of other gods.
Yeah,
so
but
like who
cares? Jesus would be cool. Oh no, this is
pre-Jesus. This is old timey religion.
Okay, and Old Testament.
Old
God.
Testament.
Okay,
Yeah,
Old Testament dog.
Yeah, this is Yahweh. Yeah.
I can see why. I mean, you know, like
Yahweh was jealous. He was jealous and vengeful.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's gonna put up 5 of those, and he's probably like, I'm sure the don't diddle kids was really high up on that list.
Yeah,
like he's probably sat there and he's like, you know, I don't want people to diddle kids, but I definitely want them to love me
so much. So I don't want any statues of any other god anywhere ever.
And he's probably like, you know what? They probably won't diddle kids anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
who's gonna diddle some kids? Yeah. So it's 2017 now. We can make the 11th commandment. Yeah.
No. I say we just take out like 9 commandments.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll keep with 10. We won't piss off the Christians or the Catholics.
No, I was gonna say go down to 1 commandment.
Oh.
And have that don't diddle kids.
There's one rule, guys. Murder all you want. Have sex with your neighbor's wife. Covet his slaves. You can covet all his manservants you want.
Speaking of one of them that we're going to get rid of, how about we take that one out?
Why do you have to covet the manservant? Like, yeah, okay. Let's take out covet his manservant and put in don't diddle kids.
There we go.
There we go.
So,
we fixed religion. You're welcome.
One religion. One religion.
Yeah.
Every week we'll try to fix it.
That's why you guys tune in. We're weekly fixing religion. Oh, we put a comedic spin on that. On a horrific dark topic. Well, I guess maybe the last thing we should talk about, because we're going to run out of time for our main topic. So the U.S. just put fresh sanctions. Sanctions, yes. They put sanctions on Iran. Oh, damn, blast those sanctions. They put fresh sanctions on Iran.
Yeah.
Apparently, Iran had launched a ballistic missile program. When did
that happen?
The U.S. State Department said 18 entities or individuals would be affected by the new measures. It says 18 of them had supported Iran's ballistic missile program or the Elite Republican Guard Corporation. Guard Corps.
So they didn't do any actual tests. Because a day ago, President Trump reaffirmed America's commitment to the Iran deal that was, quote, the worst deal in history.
Yeah.
Which he is now, I believe, affirmed twice as president.
So did he actually read it for the first time? And he was like, oh, yeah, this is great. You don't get nuclear weapons. And then we actually help your people by lifting some sanctions that were...
Because helping the Iranian people is really high up on the Republican agenda.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Help them with bombs to the face.
So according to the BBC, this is based on their ballistic missile program. But yes, it's not actually over the launch of missiles. They're saying they're in defiance of UN resolutions because they have a ballistic missile program. Yeah. So you don't get to play with toys, boys, and
I mean, I don't know how long he'll commit to it. I'm surprised, honestly, that he has yet committed to that Iran deal, because he did come out and say it sucks, and he that was one of his big campaign things.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Republicans would quash that real quick.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially now that he's lost his Mexico wall, he's lost repeal Obamacare, he's lost.
Well, no, he hasn't lost his Mexico wall. It's now a solar powered Mexican wall. Yes,
and it'll generate wall.
Yes, a solar powered transparent wall, which will generate enough electricity to power the American economy for 1,000 years.
But I mean, he can't because they need the coal jobs. So
yes,
this is really complicated.
Oh yeah, it's hard to be president. Who knew it would be this hard? Yeah, nothing really to say there. Just another line. I mean, I didn't even know there was more sanctions that Iran could have. So, yeah.
Well, they did lift a lot.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's entirely true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I guess should we move on to our topic of the week?
Sounds good.
the internet's a great place. You get your
Pornography.
You get your pornography. Let's start with that. You get pornography you didn't even know existed, just, splashing you in the face. So much of it that the real world has changed forever, and we're just one giant pornographic country. I've completely forgot my train of thought.
There's a wonder of knowledge and discourse out there.
Yes.
I've learned a lot of things. I've learned to do things that I never would have done before. Just,
conversations have changed forever.
Yeah.
We have the sum total of human knowledge in our pockets at all times.
And it's spread all over
that's
the
crazy.
world.
And it's everywhere.
Poor kids in rural countries
can get access to the internet.
Can grow
or some
up to
form
be
of it.
a physicist or something because he has a foundation out there for free if you'd want.
Yeah. I mean, that'll never cease to amaze me that, like I said, we have the sum total of human knowledge in our pockets at all times.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So the internet's amazing. Thank you, Al Gore. I guess we'll just throw that out there for inventing the internet. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Wasn't that one of his claims? I helped invent the internet.
Sure he did, boring grandpa.
Yeah. Go look for Man Bear Pig. Actually, Alex Jones has found Man Bear Pig.
No, he found...
Crimean pig hybrid people.
Gorilla.
That's true. Okay, so keep searching Al Gore. But anyways, yeah. So the internet is amazing. There's just no question about it. And for everything amazing we get from the internet, we also have to get shit. There's times when the internet collectively works together, and it's just the greatest thing in the world. Like I think when Scarlett Johansson was filming Under the Skin in Scotland, she tripped and fell, and a paparazzi caught that shot. So there's like a shot of her tripping and falling, and collectively, all these valiant heroes of the internet came together and photoshopped her into just like the most amazing things. And that's when it reaffirms my faith in humanity. When you see those like instant Photoshop like collections and they're
Photoshop
so great.
Wars are so good.
Yeah. They're amazing.
The GIFs and
the GIFs. So there is times when humanity can collectively work together on the internet for the good of us all.
Yeah.
Yes.
But how we were saying for as great as the internet is, for all the benefits it's given us from knowledge to comedy to pornography.
Yeah.
There's an insane amount of good, but it's basically like Newton's third law, which is, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And for all the greatness of the internet, we have given birth to just this depraved subsect of people.
Yes. Of
anonymity.
Society. Yes. The anonymity of the internet has allowed the birth of the troll. Yeah.
And the speed of access of information.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I feel like you could have been anonymous back in the day with snail mail, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's a long time and a lot of work to be working as a troll.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No kidding. Just sitting at home.
Writing letters?
Penning letters. Hopefully you had a typewriter or a printer. You're ugly. Commit suicide. I'm going to get postage for this. Well, it took 3 weeks for my kill yourself letter to arrive. Okay, so let's just start out with some statistics. And these, there's a whole bunch of different, research polls that have conducted polls on this everywhere from the Pew Research Center across to YouGov.org and things like that. Yeah. But this shocked me. Apparently, 33% of men have admitted to committing troll acts or harassment or sexual harassment online.
Wow.
1/3. And those are, them who admit it. So I'd argue that it might even be higher than that. Yeah. 33 is outrageous. That 1 in 3, we some of our friends have done this.
I hate to say this, but I've probably done it. When I was 15 or something. I'm sure I trolled some video games.
Yeah, that's true.
I would like to know, and then maybe this is slightly off topic or veers in a top topic.
Yeah.
But when we say that initial comment, I wonder how many of them are men and how many of them are underage kids.
I don't think.
I'm sure.
I don't think the age is here.
Yeah.
Okay. So this says this is an overwhelming millennial problem now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nobody else.
So for 18 to 29-year-olds, the figure rises to 65%. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm sure it was a pretty vague way of defining trolling.
Yeah,
so
because like when I say trolling, I meant like just needling people and like trying to get a rise out of them.
Yeah.
But I never like
trolling gets dark.
Yeah,
it gets.
I've never
dark.
told like it never even like occurs to me to tell someone like do anything or like sexual harassment or like tell somebody to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Or like,
like,
and the people who do this like regularly, I don't know.
Or the racism, like when
or the extreme racism,
like going on YouTube and just going through the comments, and you're like, what the hell? Yeah, this is light speed racism.
Like,
it's next level.
Like it does not matter what video on YouTube.
No,
every video,
it could be the most benign, vanilla anything.
It'd be like a guy talking about like types of paint to paint your kitchen in. Somebody will be like, call him the N-word.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's a rampant N-word, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, this N-word has to go back to Africa. And you're like, he's white. So is the paint.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the racism's outrageous. I think women all obviously get the worst of it. I can't tell you how many times I've had friends who are female who have told me that like I have shut down my Twitter account or I've shut down my Instagram account because like I just get either sexual advances all the time or people tell me to like show them their tits or like whatever it is. It's like it's really hard to have a public internet account and be a woman
and be subject to like the anonymity. And on one hand, you're sort of public and open.
Yes.
And the person responding to you is completely private.
They have nothing to like lose from it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it gets really bad when you talk about like, I always say that I'm really happy I didn't grow up in the generation where there was cell phone cameras, because any embarrassing thing you did on the playground, like, oh, did you piss yourself? Did you shit yourself? It's on YouTube now. Right? Like, it's on YouTube the next day.
And it's on there forever.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, suicide. Right? Yeah. It's just like I can't deal with the online harassment that I get every single day.
Definitely,
right? Yeah. Well,
or like even if something is not benign in that, but like gay children coming out, or like your teenage years are fucking horrible and awkward.
Yes.
Even like the coolest kids will have like really awkward.
They'll cry themselves to sleep. Yeah. Everyone does. I still do.
But I mean, it's one thing to do something embarrassing or shitty and have it put out there, but it really changes dramatically when somebody else is like coming at you and mocking you.
I was thinking this the other day. The bullying never stops.
Yeah.
It used to be you get bullied on the playground, you get beat up on the playground. That was shitty. I go home. My dad teaches me how to fight or I tattle or whatever it is, right? Yeah. And now it's I get home and then I turn on the computer and the bullying gets way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse. Yeah.
And it's not fair to tell people, it's like, well, you shouldn't have a Facebook account. You shouldn't have a Twitter account.
No, because you need social media in this day and age.
Yeah,
like,
I mean...
it's part of being a kid and being social.
Yeah, we're basically saying it's okay for other kids to bully you off the playground. Yeah. Nobody would say that.
No.
Right? Nobody would be like, well, you're not allowed to play on the swings or play sports because... fuck it, Billy. You're a little bitch.
Hashtag little bitch.
I mean, it's... I feel like obviously it's gotten to be a bigger and bigger problem.
Yeah.
I mean, from the YouTube comments, it's been there from day one.
Yes.
It's just, I guess more people are on the internet. More people are retards. The whole Trump clan, the Pepes.
Well, we're gonna get we'll get into political trolling. That'll be the next phase of this.
There's just so many people out there who are connected, and some of them are just assholes. Some people are assholes. Some people are just looking for an outlet to vent, I guess, about their own shit.
Yeah, well, what is the origin of bullying? Right? It's their own awkwardness or fear, and this is how I express it in hitting or fighting you. So this is it on the internet, basically. Yeah. It's just like, I feel like a piece of shit, so I'm going to make other people feel like a piece of shit. Now I'm less of a piece of shit.
I'm the president of the United States. Both a physical and a literal troll.
And, yes. Yeah, troll in chief. Yeah. Apparently 21% of victims stopped using social media altogether.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. I mean, it's mainstream now, right? We had, I think it was last year, or the year before, when the Ghostbusters movie came out, and there was all that hoopla about it. And Leslie Jones was the African American actress,
SNL person,
SNL person, funny comedian. But she was in a movie that got a lot of hate and ire on the internet
before the movie even
released. She was just bombarded on Twitter. For some reason, they targeted her. Well, no, sorry, not for some reason. Yeah. I'll tell you one reason: because she's black. And she got it so bad and so frequent that she had to delete her social media accounts. And she was like, she's just a mainstream victim to online trolling.
Well, that was like in the crux of the Gamergate movement.
Yeah, we should also talk about Gamergate. Like, do you want to run through Gamergate a little bit?
Gamergate was some pissed off nerds who couldn't get laid. Finally lashed out.
No, just end there. Okay, so that's Gamergate.
The user collective might on the internet and harass the shit out of women or feminists or anything.
Well, they targeted one woman. So she was a girl who was making a series of feminist videos on the identity of women in video games.
Yeah.
Which
she does something else.
Well, no, she made a series of videos, and I watched those videos. They were well produced, and it had an interesting point, which is very true. What is the majority of every single video game character you've ever played?
Yeah.
It is a white male Marine or soldier.
Yeah.
Like that is every single video game, right? Like, minorities aren't represented in video games, women aren't represented in video games. So this is just basically the history of video games. And she pointed out. And for some reason, every single
huge thing.
Oh yeah, every single 12-year-old worth their cents was just like, sorry, not worth their cents. They're not worth the nickels they were born in. Is that a copper joke?
Come for the commentary, stay for the commentaries.
Coming up, cadmium. But anyways, so all the 12-year-olds just went to town with sexist, misogynistic comments, bombarded her daily, and it just became this big thing that was like hashtag Gamergate. You know?
I mean, like, you basically encapsulated like 12-year-olds all the way to like just, like shut-in types into their like 30s and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the gamer community generally sucks dick.
Yes, absolutely.
And like, I grew up as, a person who loved to play video games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But the online gamer community that like
I can't tolerate
that professes themselves to be gamers are
they're atrocious.
Yes,
people. Absolutely atrocious. Yeah.
But they basically found a common cause to hate on social justice warriors and women, and it just sort of spun out of control for like 2 years there, where it was like anything woman based was like attacked by that whole internet, the 4chan, the Reddit,
absolutely.
Those Gamergate pepes basically,
and it exposed the ugly underbelly of basically the gaming community.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, it was just seen all of a sudden at the forefront that these are a bunch of misogynistic 12-year-old boys.
Yeah. Or like with the brains and maturity of a 12-year-old.
Yes. I'm kidding. They could be 40-year-olds. We don't know.
But that's like, I mean, what is the overlap between that community and the now political community?
Yeah. So I guess they take many forms, right? So we all saw the New York Times expose the fact that the Kremlin was hiring a large amount of Russian bots as well as actual just hackers to pretend to be conservatives online and create conservative memes, create conservative news, create conservative everything in order to influence the election.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it during Donald Trump's own Twitter account during the campaign.
He would retweet some of them sometimes.
Yeah, and like all the replies would be full of these Russian guys.
Yeah.
Like were obnoxiously pro-America, or could barely spell. And, you could just tell. And as soon as the election happened, those accounts sort of like replies dried up.
Oh yeah, of course they got cold. Wasn't that one he posted where it was like a picture of it where it was like, where does Hillary Clinton's money come from? And then he put the Jewish star on it, the Star of David on the thing, and then all of a sudden it got exposed. This was from a really racist Reddit, sub-thread. So you should probably take the Star of David off there.
That happened a couple of times.
Where he just reposts it.
Well, the same thing happened. I mean, maybe let's just jump to it right now. Now. That instance 2 weeks ago where him retweeting that CNN GIF where that guy had a WWE wrestling GIF that was redone. So then obviously the news tracked this guy down on his Reddit profile because, people losers like that who spend their time on the internet blab about themselves all the
time. And
it's very easy to dox somebody up.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same thing those trolls do half the time. Right?
Yeah.
They try to figure out people's actual identity.
Yep.
And it's usually with stuff that's already there in the public sphere.
Yes.
You just track down his little details.
Track it down. Yeah.
So they tracked this guy down. And he was like basically a racist, anti-Semitic piece of shit who's a 30 or 40-year-old.
Yeah.
And then
all he had done is taken that basically that clip of Trump tackling Vince McMahon, but instead of Vince McMahon's face, it's the CNN logo.
Yeah. But he also had a meme earlier with like, these the people who work at CNN. It was like a store. David next
and they were
one.
all like Jewish. I was like, there's no way every single member of CNN is Jewish.
No.
Like,
no way.
Like even at the worst conspiratorial levels, like that's not happening.
No. So that guy got found out, and then he wrote this like lengthy pice of shit sort of reply.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He wrote like this big apology and like, I'm sorry for I'm a man, and it just sort of I was just trolling for kicks, and then it got out of hand, and I never meant for it to get here. I'm so sorry. And then he just sort of deleted all his accounts. CNN's like, we know who the fuck you are. So we're not do this shit again. I mean, like, what's the actual authenticity of that apology? I would assume fucking zero.
Yeah.
It's just because you were almost busted for being in public, for being an anti-Semitic, racist piece of shit.
Yes.
And your friends and family and your coworkers are about to find out.
Yeah.
Which is like really the biggest fear, I would say,
for any troll.
95% of these trolls.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is to lose the anonymity.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Then what do you have anymore?
Yeah. I mean, if you get outed to your normal people that you know in life.
Yeah.
That you're this like pathetic wannabe edgelord on the internet. People would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. If you compose yourself that way in everyday society, like you would be shunned.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So
unless you're Nazi.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess you're shunned, but less so these days.
Less so these days. The Nuremberg trials had some efficacy. Some mild efficacy.
But yeah, like the political trolling obviously is a big problem now, right? I mean,
it is a big problem. I don't think it has the power to sway elections. You're looking at me strange, but like, I don't think that alone was responsible for
but I think stupidity and
yes, and I think it certainly adds to the narrative. It certainly there's no way to say that it doesn't actually contribute. It does,
because I mean a lot of people get all their information on the
from
internet
memes. From memes. Yeah, which I mean that says a lot about the people we're talking.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. I mean, like I know people who showed me memes during the election campaign. It's like, what about this? I'm like, that's a fucking meme.
Yeah, just type the quote into Google right now, and then what pops up? Oh, this is a fake quote that never occurred. They occurred on both sides. I had liberal friends who were sending me that Trump meme that was like, the easiest way to fool anyone is just to become a Republican because they're idiots.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And it's like, have you seen this? He said this in Playboy in like '96. It's like, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
This is not a quote.
Yeah.
Someone wrote this on a picture of him, posted it on the internet, and you think it's news.
Yeah.
It's not.
People, like you really need to we need to slow down and not accept everything from random source of the internet.
Yes, this is a big follow up to our last week's topic. Fake news and
well, like I mean, the problem is when you're getting news. Obviously, what we mentioned last week, you're getting news from respected journalists or journalists. There is like a public face to put that information from.
Yes,
right. That's
absolutely.
what does. You lose that anonymity. Taking information or salacious information online from troll cunt 43 and then to be like, well, did you know that Hillary likes rape babies and has a child sex ring in a fucking shitty little pizza place? Like, that's how far it got.
Well, okay, so that should be where we steer this to, because Pizzagate and the entire Pizzagate controversy was basically a subreddit story, right? That occurred in which
they could start on 4chan.
Okay, started on 4chan.
Quickly move to subreddit
So 4chan, the anonymous Reddit, basically, the more anonymous Reddit.
The troll. It's like the professional leagues of trolls.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the 4chan forums. So started on 4chan, worked its way to Reddit, eventually gets picked up by Alex Jones, who has never met a conspiracy he doesn't love. and then says on his very widely listened, radio program, internet radio program, that there is a pedophile ring that is going on in a pizza parlor, that Hillary Clinton has been using the word pizza as a code in her emails because it pops up frequently because apparently people eat pizza. Who knew?
No.
No, they don't. They touch children.
Well, the Catholic Church doesn't.
That's the real Pizzagate. Is the German choir church. There was so many pizzas being eaten there. But yeah, it got to the point where enough people thought this was mainstream news. I don't know if it even reached the levels of Fox. I don't want to say that. Maybe not. But anyways, it got to the point where enough people believed it that a man walked into a pizza parlor that he thought this child sex ring was going on with a firearm.
Yeah.
And endangered people's lives by doing so.
I think he just got convicted recently.
Yeah. But that's the power of a troll, right?
Yeah.
I mean, trolls can bully people into committing suicide. They do it in high school all the time. Yeah. They can also convince idiots to grab arms, to pick up arms and go into, public establishments and shoot people.
Like a concerted effort by a lot of trolls.
Yeah. When they pool together.
Yeah.
When the Pepes, do the really shitty Captain Planet combined, or maybe the shitty Power Rangers combined thing where they all combine in some sludgy, gross abortion frog. But when they do that, they have real power. When their rings combine.
All their sweaty palms.
Varicose veins. It's been mainstream so much in the last couple of years, that whole Sony fiasco, when all the sexual pictures came out. The Sony emails also got hacked, and then they got trolled to shit. I
mean, we're always going to deal with in worlds with like somewhat cybersecurity issues and hacking. Like that's just sort of, I think, part and parcel of the internet, especially the current internet. But it's just the trolling, the anonymity trolling really sucks.
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of newspapers over the last, I want to say 5 years, have switched off comments or have changed the comment section online to you have to have your Facebook or you have to be verified.
Okay.
And some of those I'm still like, well, this is fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Like
you don't want to get lost in the cesspool of reading comments on that.
I just think when people put their name, I mean,
they're trying to add, accountability.
Yeah. And those stupid people are still out there and maybe professing a little bit of stupidity and anger and hate.
Yeah.
But I guess you lose the people who are trying to kill people or just complete, there is a level of pure sadism that disappears when you go,
absolutely, into the dark depths of the internet. One last story I wanted to end with, because this kind of encapsulates everything we've talked about. I don't know if you remember last year, but I believe it was IBM Tech, or maybe it was Infosystems, or one of those big computer companies.
Yeah.
They invented an artificial intelligence Twitter account in which the Twitter account would learn from Twitter. So it was a fake female Twitter account, and she was to learn from Twitter. And after 24 to 48 hours, she would become arguably Twitter sentient. Okay. And so the way in which she could respond and reply would be based on the algorithms of ingesting everyone on Twitter.
Wow.
And within 24 hours, she became so racist, so misogynistic,
my God,
so insanely like Nazi dark. Yeah. Every tweet by her was like, not enough Jews were gassed in the Holocaust. Yeah, vote Trump, make America great again.
Wow.
So that was the byproduct. Like,
I think part of this, like, the lesson learned here is that people are awful. God.
Yeah, like we started by saying there's the good part of humanity that gives us hope, like when they collectively Photoshop things, and there's the rest that make us suicidal and
sad for the future.
Sad for the future of humanity. Well, to summarize though, it's definitely just a byproduct of pure anonymity.
Yeah.
Angry, shitty, loud voices are often the most vocal and the most frequent.
That's it.
They're posting on and on and on. Just their hate speech flows from their fingertips.
A lot of these are, I want to say, young males.
Yeah. Well, the stats back that up. The majority is young men. Yeah.
And young men suck, right?
Yeah.
I mean, young men are the type of people who join ISIS and stuff.
And then afterwards, like, say they regret it because they're like, they didn't have iPhone chargers and iPod charger. It's ISIS, son. What do you think you're joining? The Valkyries, like. Yeah. Any little bow you want to put on this topic? I think we trolled the trolls pretty well.
I hope so, but if they get a wind, well, they're not going to listen to a podcast. They're too fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, they also don't have the time.
They're too busy posting dank memes.
So dank. So dank, brah. Yeah. Well, I guess we should summarize like we always do. If you have any comments or questions that you want to. If you want to write to us, well, hey, our the serfs.podbean.com is set up so you need a Facebook account to be able to write. So you got to make up a fake Facebook account, which is harder and harder these days.
We are on Twitter and everything else.
Yeah, send us your feedback. Well, we didn't call out like an actual troll. We weren't like Twitter, whatever. When you said one, right? What was it, like Troll Cunt 47 or something?
Troll Cunt 43?
Okay, so fair enough. Troll Cunt 43 might be angry at us. He's out there fuming. He's going to meme us. There's going to be so many memes. But all the rest of you, yeah. I mean, if you're listening to Serfs, you're probably good people.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, for the Serfs, I'm Lance.
And I'm Dave. And vaya con el diablo.